Good noon. We are so happy that you could be here with us today. Welcome. Welcome to what we like to think of as our weekly spiritual spa, your Sunday spiritual indulgence, if you will. We're here to help you feel better if you're feeling bad and to help you feel even better if you're feeling fine. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, the author of the book The Science of Mind, used to open his radio and television shows with the words, "There is a power for good in the universe and you can use it." I believe that. But I also believe that we can't not use it. In fact, I believe we're using it all the time because it's done unto us as we believe, and that power is at work, whether we are believing good and wonderful things or whether or not we are believing that the world's coming to an end. The important part of Dr. Holmes' admonition was to remember to use it for good. So I'm going to ask you to go within for just a moment before we get started and consider this. We are here to remember who we are. We are children of creation. We are here to remember that we are created in the image and likeness of God, of creation itself, whatever you choose to call the creative motivating force of the universe. We are here to heal our misconceptions and our misunderstandings, and to release whatever beliefs may no longer be serving us. We are here to be awake, to inspire, to uplift, to heal, and to make whole our families, our friends, our worlds, and ourselves. We are here to learn how to use our divine inheritance to make our lives and our world a better place. And so it is. Good noon, lovely people. Heidi wants to know if I tapped into her brain last night. I might have. I do that periodically. I like to go to inspiring places to pick up ideas. Happy hot Sunday, Dana. Yeah, I think it's going to turn out to be one of those, isn't it? Boy, it's been a week in the world, hasn't it? And in spite of everything else that's going on, my attention just keeps returning to the families in Florida, the ones who are waiting to hear something, anything, about their loved ones who lived in the condos that collapsed. And, of course, my mind is on those souls who lived in the buildings. And yet, in spite of the fact that it looks like a war zone, the rescuers and the families hold out hope and keep praying, as must we. We will include them in our prayers, of course, at the end of the hour. But let us just take a moment right now, and centered in spirit, let us know that there is a creative, unlimited power in the universe. It is the intelligence and the means and the love behind all of creation. And it is the life within each of us and the life within each of those waiting in Florida and the life and the love of those for whom we pray. It is the hope and the prayers of us all. Let us know for them the highest good. Let us know for the family's peace of mind. And let us know, too, for the rescuers, peace of mind, peace of heart, and strength. And so it is. What a week. Hard to really think too much about anything else, isn't it? But I'm going to give you something to think about just because I can. Oh, thank you, Donna. Lainey's with us.
Yes.
Hot damn. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Well, Lainey, I was going to fill them in on you, but why don't you take a moment and fill everyone in on you? Lainey's with us. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
On her phone.
On her phone, yes. I don't know if I could even know how to get to this on the phone. Oh, I'm sure I could figure it out, but it probably wouldn't be on time. Oh, Lainey. Lainey's been in the hospital, folks. But she's coming home today. Yay! I like that I get to go home sometime today. Boy, that's hospital release, isn't it? Hi, yeah, we'll let you go on Sunday. What time? Well, we don't know exactly.
There should be a checkout time, like for a hotel.
That would be ideal. Yes, you must be out of your bed and at 11 o'clock. Oh, yes, Jennifer, of course the rescue dogs, too. Can you imagine what goes through their little hearts when they feel like they're not doing their job because nothing's happening? So, yes, we absolutely include the rescue dogs in our prayers, and I'm going to put that in my notes. There. Okay. You guys are really right on it this morning. You're right on it all the time, but I mean, you're really right on it this morning. So we'll talk some more about Florida. And Lainey will fill you in on her adventures this week. I'm sure. Because if she doesn't, I will. But I've got a question for you to think about. Where are you in your life right now? Are you where you thought you would be at this stage, or did you take a turn when you were 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, picking up, that took you in a completely different direction? And given where you are, what would it take for you to move to another level? I'm just kind of curious about your answers to those questions. Oh, thank you, Donna. I love Rumi. And most of his writing feels like it's been written yesterday, not 13th century. Boring, Lainey says. Boring. Her week's been boring. Yeah. I'll bet there were times this past week, Lainey, when you opened your eyes and looked around and went, I didn't think I'd be in a hospital today. I mean, it's not something you plan, is it? Unless you're having elective surgery and you know ahead of time. But certainly not for something like a stroke. You're too young to be having a stroke. You are. I say so. Yeah, done a law school at 43. There's a good one. There's a good one. When you were 20, did you expect that? Um, there never has been and never will be anything boring about Lainey. And we are so thrilled that you're doing okay. So thrilled. And that we're all here and that we can all hold in our hearts a higher truth and we can all pray. I mean, what a gift that is, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, Jennifer says she's not where she imagined she would be when she was 20 or so. I know I'm not. I know I'm not where I thought I would be, doing what I thought I would be doing. Not that I had a lot of clarity on what I thought I would be doing, but what I kind of wanted to do at 18, 20 or so was be Lois Lane. I went to college as a journalism major. Not so terribly different, probably. Um, or I wanted to be Perry Mason. See, I would not have been surprised if I went to law school at some point, Donna. But I didn't. I didn't. Um, I took a different road. Yeah. I just love you, Lainey. And and because of who you are and the way your mind works, everything supports your spiritual growth, doesn't it? Now we're going to blame the typing mishaps on the effect of the motor skills. And they may well be. But you know, you still get your point across just fine. Yeah, Dana, see, there's a whole life in there. A master's degree, a counseling license, a divorce, a second marriage, an adorable great granddaughter. You know, life just keeps moving, doesn't it? No matter what. And there we find ourselves. There we find ourselves. So let me talk about what I was going to talk about, and let's see how it fits in. Because it seems to me that this week that I've become really aware of a great number of people who have suddenly arrived at a crossroad in their lives for reasons of health, Lainey, or finances, or loss, or simply the experience of life itself. Many people are finding themselves in places they didn't expect to be, having to make choices that they didn't expect to be making, or taking steps that they didn't expect to be taking. I see it all around me on a global level, on a national level, and on a very local level. It seems like things are breaking down. Buildings, bridges, lives. What was thought to be rock solid somehow appears to be crumbling or collapsing or changing in unexpected ways. Old paradigms are breaking down. What was thought to be known and understood is now being questioned. And so very many people seem to be standing at a crossroad, trying to get a sense of direction, trying to find their way. Which way to go? Which path to take? All of which, of course, always takes me to Robert Frost, who wrote, I think, for all of us, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere, ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. That choice made all the difference. How many times have we been there? How many times have we stood at a crossroad and had to choose? And then once we had chosen, we questioned, didn't we? Don't we? Did we make the best choice? Did we choose for the right reasons? Did we choose wisely? Did we choose well? Did we? Did we? Many years ago, there was an entire issue of Parabola magazine dedicated to Crossroads, considering a crossroad as a point of choice in our lives. From earliest times, the magazine wrote, the crossroad has symbolized the meeting and dividing of ways, the union of opposites, and the necessity for choice. 2 or more roads, each coming from a specific point of origin, cross each other at a certain place and time, and then proceed in their own directions. At the point of intersection, the roads share a common ground. What happens there? Is there a stop for the exchange of information, as at the Roman intersection of 3 roads called a trivium, from which we derive the word trivia? There, so you will learn something new every Sunday. You just stick around long enough. Is the crossroad a welcome way stop, as at the meeting of 2 rivers, where they built medieval cathedrals? Is it a sacred site, as in African traditions where tribal rituals are performed? Or is it a place of dread? Is it the meeting place of witches and demons, the scene of hangings or burials or suicides? Does the traveler wish to linger there or hurry away? Mythology and literature are rich with descriptions of the crossroads. Crossroads as a place for danger and risk for the unwary. Yet, not all crossroads need to portend danger. In fact, many are perceived as just the opposite. In the Mayan tradition, the crossroads symbolizes the common ground of power where 2 worlds meet. When approached with care and watchfulness and sensitivity, the crossroads become a place of promise and possibility. They represent a moment that can lead to renewed life at another level. 2 roads, or sometimes 3. So many directions to consider, so many choices to be made. Think about those moments in your life when you made the choice to do something different, to take another road than the one that you always thought you would take, or the one you had been taking. See, here's my theory. We're all on the road of experience, the road of self-discovery. At some point in each one of our lives, at various points and times, and perhaps you are there now, we arrive at a crossroads, a turning point, a place of challenge or change or choice, where we are called upon to stop and consider our options. We can continue in the direction we've been traveling, or perhaps take a new direction. Which will we choose? We are at a crossroad, the place where yesterday, today, and tomorrow meet, and all things are possible. But which choice is best? At the intersection of our choices, I believe we are called to remember. Not just what has come before or where we were going, but who we are and who we choose to be. And no matter what choice we make, we will constantly be called back to that intersection to remember the choice we made. And in that remembering, I believe, is our salvation, because it calls us to return to the truth. According to Black Elk, the Native Americans on vision quests pray continuously to Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, while walking a cross pattern within a sacred circle. From the center, the quester moves to the west, and having spent some time there, then returns to the center, the crossroad. In the same manner, he goes to the poles at the north, the east, and the south, spending time at each, but always returning to the center. This is his only pattern. Venturing out and then returning to the crossroads. And he prays constantly. The form itself has power in it, for as he returns to center, it is a return to the Great Spirit, the center of everything. And though it may seem that the search for vision takes him away, having garnered whatever information he needs in those places, sooner or later, he returns to center. All thoughts return to the one. All roads lead to the crossing. The point at which we, if we wish to transcend our present conditions, must make a choice for something greater. The choice is ultimately a choice to trust our inner knowing, a choice to trust God, and a choice to love Spirit, to love ourselves, and to trust and to love one another more. And in our wanderings, all of those aspects have to be addressed. The crossroads creates a form, a cross. The cross form symbolizes our rootedness in earth, and at the same time, it demonstrates our vertical connection to heaven, to the cosmos, to the unlimited. The horizontal point of intersection may well represent our arms outstretched to embrace the world and one another. There's a lovely thought. The idea that at a major intersection of our lives, we actually take time to think of one another, to embrace one another and our world. The vertical path represents the love of God pouring itself upon us and rising upward from creation to creator, and like a ladder representing our climb to the creator, transcending previous limitations, reaching up, reaching out. The horizontal axis is that same love, expressing itself on earth. The path of love, meaning at the intersection of the human and the divine, embracing the earth and everyone and everything on it. Every crossroad implies a cross. And when we are there, it is important that we remember that we are at the center of the world and the point of absolute creation. From here, the choices are made. From here, creation goes into motion, into action. We are at choice. The choice to transcend the appearances. You must go this way because this is the way you've always gone. You must go that way because that's the way everyone thinks you should go. And you are at choice to go beyond that, to choose the divine, the highest, or to continue without making a choice to the next crossroad. Oh, and please hear this, there will always be another crossroad. Wherever we may be, we must know that we are on sacred ground. And any symbol that reminds us of this is a symbol to be cherished. When we see the cross as a symbol for the tree of life, it then becomes something more. Not a relic of one faith, but a symbol of universal meaning. Not a cross, a crossroad, a place of personal, intimate choice. When we realize that, then the transcendent becomes immanent. The infinite becomes personal. We stand at a choice point. And if we are ready, and if we are courageous, if we are anchored in faith, we choose spirit. Arthur Schlesinger, the historian, said, by making choices, man makes himself. What a lovely thought. That we are, in fact, creating ourselves with each choice we make. Are we making the highest choice? Are we making the best choice? Are we making the holiest choice? If we find ourselves today or tomorrow, when we find ourselves at a crossroad, it is important that we remember what brought us to that point. To remember who we are. And remember the spirit that expresses through us. That spirit to which all things are possible. If we are wandering, if we feel lost, then let us remember to return to the crossroads. And there to define our choices, to remember why we made them, and if necessary, to redefine ourselves, to choose again, to cross over, to remake ourselves in the image and likeness of God. If you are aware of someone at a crossroad, remember that where they are is a place of infinite possibility. Hold that for that. Know the highest truth for them. Embrace them in their situation with your love. Embrace them with your prayers. Know the presence of God is in their lives, even if they cannot see it for themselves. And if you are the one at a crossroad, do not be afraid. Know that you are not alone. Where you are in the moment, and regardless of how it looks, is a place of infinite possibility. For God is there. Because you are there. Look to the north, look to the south, the east, and the west. Look for all the possibilities for you to be more, to be greater. And then from the center, from that point of awareness, choose the direction you will move in. Choose your next steps. Choose who you will be. Choose to love your God, yourself, and others, which is always the choice for the highest good. Choose to be the act of love for yourself, for others, and then take action. Crossroads are not intended to be places of homesteading, but rather places to regroup, remember, reconsider. Places to be renewed, redeemed, perhaps even resurrected. Reach out in all directions for what it is you want. North, south, east, west, up, down. All hold pieces of the puzzle. Visit each one and consider what they have to offer you. But always, always return to the center, to God. And recognize that as the center of everything, the place to which we must return is the place from which all good comes, and the place to which we can always return and be renewed in faith, in strength, in courage. The place from which we may once again walk the path to a greater life, to a promised life. Wherever you may find yourself in this moment, may you be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. The road to God, the road to self-knowledge, the road to love, the road to understanding. And that has made all the difference. That's my prayer for you today. That from the crossroads you step out courageously, fueled with faith, and knowing that you are expressing a God that knows only good. That's my prayer. And so it is. I should have just let you guys do the talk. It is indeed a numinous place, Jennifer. It is indeed. Those crossroads. And they just keep showing up, don't they? I know I have many, and I have shared many of my crossroads stories, the choices made to go in a different direction, sometimes a direction I would never have anticipated. Choices that changed my life, as I'm sure all of you have done. And looking back now, I wouldn't change any of them. Well, maybe a couple. But I also know that the lessons that I learned because of even bad choices have served me well, have made me who I am. And I kind of like who I am. I know I like who you guys are. So, what can we do you think, to be brighter, stronger, more aware? Who shall we be? Who shall we be? Are we at a crossroads now with that decision? Who shall we be? Who shall we decide to be this morning? What choices can we make? I'm reading Lainey talking about knowing that she's known she needs to eat better and take care of her body. I believe this week has nudged her in that direction. But it's still a choice, isn't it? We can know things. Boy, we can know things. We're good at knowing things. But doing them. Making a commitment to that, stepping out of that crossroads, that place of choice, and actually walking the path that we say we have chosen. What do you need to do? What do you need to do to be the person that you see walking down the road you have chosen? Care enough for yourself and for those who love you. Be wise enough to make the right decisions. Don't let debris from the past litter your mind, or even worries for the future. If you're thinking right today, tomorrow will take care of itself. Choose a path, right or wrong, and I love your comments because I'm seeing many of you go, yeah, well, okay, yeah. The donate button doesn't go to regular PayPal. It just goes to Facebook's version of PayPal. Thank you, Lainey. I like who you are, too. It probably does work better on a computer. There's probably some button that it just becomes so infinitely small on a phone that that you can't see it. Yeah, see, Lainey, damn, you are such a good practitioner. Um, Lainey says, I think remembering that it's all God and there are infinite possibilities within our choices. See, here's what I believe really is that we stand at the crossroads, we fret and we squirm and we carry on and we go out gathering all the information and we come back and we fret some more and we squirm and we finally say, okay, I'm going that way. And you know, if it's not the right way, there's going to be a detour a few steps down the road that you never expected that's going to take you exactly where you're supposed to go. But you have to get off the crossroads. You have to get off that point of indecisions. You need to do what you need to do there, but then you need to move. When you move, I absolutely believe that the universe just kind of gently, and sometimes not so gently, moves you to where you need to be. Me, a minister, for a good portion of my life, I didn't do church. I believed in a power greater than I was. I wasn't sure I could use it, but I believed there was a power. I mean, how could you not? How could you look at the sky and look at the ocean and look at the vastness of space and the moon and the stars and all of those things? Strawberry moons. How can you look at things like that and not know that there is something greater? I didn't do that. I'd love to have, but I didn't. There is something greater. But it isn't just out there with the moon and the stars. It's right here where we are. And we're using it all the time. See, the whole secret is to just get that. Just get that. It really is done to us as we believe, as we really believe, not as we think we should believe, not as we would like to believe, but as we really believe. If your life isn't going the way you want it to, check your belief system. Jettison what doesn't work. Hold on to what does. Good girl, Lainey. It reminds me of the Vitura Papke story. Vitura Papke was Ernest Holmes' practitioner, and had a clientele for years, and she lived well into her 90s. But she went to the hospital to visit one of her clients one day and ran out of the ward and found a payphone. It was that long ago. And called her practitioner and said, pray for me, I'm seeing sick people. So they prayed. And she could go back into the hospital and see people well and happy and whole and renewed. She knew that what was going on in her head was not going to serve her or anybody else. And so she did something about it. Thank you, Lainey. Thank you for a whole bunch of stuff this week. And yeah, it's all God. And if we simply know that, then you really kind of know you can't make a wrong decision. And if you keep knowing that it's all God, even when it looks a little chaotic and a little crazy, it will work out. It will. So, I'm having so much fun just chatting with you guys today. but I don't want to leave without prayer. So let's pray, shall we? And close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, not because you need to close your eyes to talk to God, but because it kind of limits the distractions. And if that's not comfortable, then just soft focus so that your attention is moving within to the center of your being, to the wholeness of your being, to an awareness of the power within you. And know with me that you are never alone. God is where you are right now. You have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, you are protected, you are sustained, and you are inspired by a God that knows only good. So let us know today that bodies are healed, minds are cleared, motor functions return better than ever. Doubts are put to rest. Faith is restored. Endurance and strength fill each of our bodies with wholeness and light, and our minds with an awareness of the presence of God. And as we know all of this for ourselves, we know too that God is everywhere present. And as present today within us and in Florida, and in the lives of those who could not be with us or chose not to be with us today, still all that there is God. And so we call forth that power, that presence, that unlimited love to work in each of our lives and the lives of those in Florida who wait to hear. And the lives of those in Florida who lived and perhaps still live in what appears in the moment to be a disaster area. Our prayers are with the first responders, the medical teams, those courageous people who hold out hope and walk at the risk of their own lives through the rubble. Our prayers too for the rescue dogs. So many beings working so hard for one cause. God bless them all. God give them strength. Let there be miracles. It is not too late, ever, for miracles. And so we call them forth now, knowing that as we call them forth, so they must be. Let there be miracles. And let us as well know miracles and peace and safety for all of those people around the world who are in dangerous situations. May their hearts be at peace, may their minds be at rest, And may they be safe in their beds tonight. And whatever else it is that is left unsaid or unthought, God knows. May the world be a better place tonight than it was this morning, and better yet tomorrow. Let it be so. And so it is. We have 2 closing songs today. One for all of us and one for Donna. Can we all listen to Donna's song?
Of course you can.
Okay, just checking. I wouldn't want to. Any special prayer requests, please just email me directly. And will you say with me our closing affirmation? Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
And life is in all my affairs.
And life is in all my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
And I accept it.
And I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is not.
And just the way that it is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Have a sweet rest of your weekend and a good beginning to this new week that is just waiting for us to guide it. And if by chance you need just a little extra nudge midweek, I'll be here Wednesday at 7. Keep seeing miracles, Jennifer. It's the highest and the best thing you can do. I love you all. I'll see you Wednesday.